This episode is sponsored by 12 Clean Pages, my memoir of surviving a life-threatening stroke, learning to walk and talk again, and entering God's purpose and mission for my life. If you're looking for an inspirational story that will help you enter God's purpose and mission for your life, you're going to want to read 12 Clean Pages. I promise you won't be able to put it down. When I turned 16, my father took me car shopping. There were plenty of sensible sedans on the lot, but I was secretly hoping we wouldn't walk toward those. I felt excited when he pointed to a pre-owned black Trans Am with a gold Firebird stretched across the hood. "I can see you in that one," he laughed. "Let's try it." I could see myself in it too, but the car salesman couldn't. Wait a minute. "Are you sure she can handle something like this?" he said. "I don't think you want this one." He was clearly doubtful. I must have looked very inexperienced for a car salesman to try to talk us out of buying a car. We never even turned that key. I sat in the driver's seat of that black Trans Am for only a few minutes before I admitted that the low angle and the long hood would be pretty hard for me to manage. It felt very different from our family's small car that I'd practiced on in empty parking lots. And I knew I wasn't about to handle a Firebird on the highway, even before I ever heard the engine roar. But a driver like Jeff Gordon can handle it. I laughed one time when I saw a Pepsi commercial that featured Jeff Gordon, a champion NASCAR driver. In that commercial, Gordon hides who he is with a costume of a goatee, glasses, and a members-only jacket. And then he takes a used car salesman on a wild test drive. With hidden cameras recording everywhere, Gordon gets behind the wheel of a Camaro and pretends to be unsure about driving for just a moment. Then he peels out of the parking lot and starts racing, spinning around a closed course. The salesman looks terrified, pressing himself against the door and screeching like a monkey. At the end of the ride, the salesman jumps out and threatens to call the cops, just as the driver pulls off his fake mustache and says, "Ta-da, I'm Jeff Gordon." The man immediately relaxes and smiles. Then he says, "You want to do it again?" The commercial isn't real, but the message is clear. Jeff Gordon knows how to drive. The salesman's fear depends on who he believes is the one behind the wheel. When he thinks some reckless stranger is driving on slick streets, he panics and he wants out. He shouts things like, "Stop the car!" And he warns, "You're liable for any damages." He even calls the driver an idiot again and again. In the final seconds of the commercial, he even yells, "Who do you think you are?" But once he knows who it really is, he laughs. Suddenly, the experience doesn't feel so dangerous. Because the moment he realizes an expert is in control of the wheel, he can enjoy the ride. And maybe our journey with God is like that. When life feels fast and out of control, we start to react like frightened passengers, feeling unsafe, powerless. But God never thinks, I'm not sure what to do here. Oh, wow, these are some new twists and turns I wasn't expecting. Nothing surprises him. His skill is greater than we can imagine. So, would it change how we feel if we truly trusted the one who's driving? Listen, I've never cursed at God, but I have cried out to him. My quiet time has not always been quiet. There have been times when I have shouted, "My whole life is at stake here, God. I hope you know what you're doing." sometimes we fear that he doesn't. When my life has felt out of control, I've just wanted to jump out of the car, to be honest. There have been dark seasons when I didn't even want to wake up. And it all comes down to one thing: the driver's expertise. Because we aren't safe when we're the ones driving the car. And we can feel that. But we are safer staying in a car that he's driving. We don't really want to escape this life. We just want to understand where he's taking us. If we grab the wheel, we're only going to make things worse. We are not the experts. But I want to remind you of something. Your best results seem a long way off. Relief seems out of reach, but hope can move quickly, and following it can feel fast. That's scary on the icy roads of circumstances that we don't understand. But remember that God knows how to drive, no matter how rough the road becomes. His ability to handle the sharp turns of life makes a driver like Jeff Gordon look like he's in a plastic cozy coupe. And it makes us look like brand new drivers behind the wheel of a Firebird. Life is far too powerful for us to control alone. Job is often called the champion of suffering. After losing everything, including his children and his health, he asks God hard questions. But then God asks Job hard questions. Those questions are meant to shift his focus. God begins with, "Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you will answer me." Then he says, "Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, or seen the storehouses of hail, which I reserve for times of trouble, for days of war and battle? What's the way to the place where the lightning is dispersed, or the place where the east winds are scattered over the earth? Who cuts a channel for the torrents of rain and a path for the thunderstorm, to water a land where no one lives, an uninhabited desert, to satisfy a desolate wasteland and make it sprout with grass? Does the rain have a father? Who fathers the drops of dew? From whose womb comes the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens when the waters become hard as stone, when the surface of the deep is frozen?" That's some strong language. I personally never want to hear God say, "Brace yourself, Nika." When he said that to Job, he was showing his greatness and Job's limit. God's questions weren't really harsh. They were honest. They were direct. Job was focusing on why. God was focusing on who. And who matters more than why. God controls the sea. Can you think of it? Lightning obeys him. He feeds the lioness. Ice forms at his command, and nothing surprises him. When you want to ask why, ask who instead. The who steadies the why. Knowing who is in control brings peace. I was thinking this morning that peace is my home, and it goes with me everywhere. Almost like a little snail, I just bring my peace with me, the peace that Jesus gave to all of us as a gift. And like that little snail, when I sense danger, I can retreat into the peace all around me, and you can too. Who belongs behind the wheel of your life? God does. Instead of asking for control back, retreat into peace and trust him. He can handle it. Invite God to be God, and then brace yourself, because if you truly choose to live life faithfully, then you're in for a wild ride.